Mohan, the Organisation of Civil Defence jurisdiction of the Department of Defence and is managed by 35 local authority civil defence officers and approximately 3,500 volunteers. I want to salute from the bottom of my heart the work that they've done over the decades. We had, who is not well at the moment, Eddie Coney was our officer in South Tip for decades, and he's retired, but he's just laid low at the moment. Wish him well, and now we have the Lower Strathy. But the volunteers, and the last speaker, he's gone now, but Deputy Crowe, I remember I was chair of the council going to the summer camp up in Lahinch, and being looked after by the late councillor Jimmy Hogan, Fine Gael councillor, and his late wife, who were wonderful officers, and they looked after me and my 3 kids at the Munster final in Limerick on the way, so it was a joyous occasion. But to talk about them and the work they did, and they worked in Clonmel and have done with the floods for decades now, thankfully, and thanks to former Minister of State, Aristotle Mansell as well, and others who helped provide the funding for that. 95% successful scheme in keeping out the water, but they're still on hand to help out when there's floods, when there's someone missing person, when there's water outages. And I think they're abused by the local authorities and Stroke Irish Water when they have to deliver notices out, boiled water notices and whatever. So we need to respect them and not make them just be using for that. I know they've been cut back an awful lot in recent years, limited in what they can do, because they used to give great assistance at traffic and management at funerals and all. A lot of those things have been pulled back from them because of insurance and everything else. They love to do it, but the rules and regulations deny them from doing it. So this bill has been to consolidate a number of acts, so I hope it will. And I don't know, not certain, like often legislation can have unintended consequences. So it's a very difficult area now to get volunteers, as you know. And same with the voluntary fire services, they're tremendous people. And they're kind of pushed aside now, they're not really, they tell you the tenders and all are up to standard, whatever. But God, they were always local to the people and were there first normally on the scene and dealt with many, many cases of difficult cases as well. But in the case of civil defence, and they pride in their vehicles, and they have pride in their vehicles, pride in their uniforms, pride in their colleagues, and they assisted many festivals and community events where, others wouldn't be, in a Gardaí Corner thing on the ground, so community events and field days and whether it be, and I should throw in, to be fair, the Order of Malta and the Red Cross, they do tremendous work as well. And have done over the decades. But we must strengthen them. We must have the motto in idea of the metal, and that's what they work on. But we can't have, as I said, being Irish Water and others using it for that. And in the vein of the last speaker again, and he mentioned monuments and parades at weekends and all, I too agree with every word he said. People are hijacking the tricolour, hijacking many, many events and political parties. And some of them are in here, hijacking the Lean Minister Memorial Monument that my dad was proud to be Clerk of Works of. There were 12 members in that committee. My dad was joint treasurer, and most of them served in prison, served in the War of Independence and the Civil War, and were national commemoration. And some people want to claim ownership of this monument, built by the sweat and blood of people that handed stone to stone, to hand to hand. And some people arrive along now and hey, Preston, we're the new kids in this block. We own this. Nobody owns the tricolour. Nobody owns, but the National Army are proud to represent it. But nobody owns the relic, Liam O'Lynchig, and his family, many of them are coming to commemorate. There's one in Fermai as well, and on the 11th of April. And we look forward to a proper weekend of commemoration. And you were down at the Torch in the past, and we're not going to allow it to be hijacked by anyone. A monument was built by the people of Newcastle, Ballybacon, Halfin and Grange. The money came from America. I see the letters that came from my late dad as treasurer of shilling and half crown, whatever. Sweat and blood and tears, with pride, and it's staying that way, and it's staying in the ownership of that committee. Go back with.
Thank you.